Give me a D and a G. It's the Dawg and Gus Show. It's the Dawg and Gus Show.
Hey, Dawg, your beard's looking flickin' great, my man.
Thanks, Gus. I've been using the Bush Beard Wash.
The what now?
At Bush Beard, they know that every man with a beard is a unique beardo. And that's why they offer a wide range of products to cater to every beard's needs. Whether you have a long and luscious mane or prefer to keep it short and sharp, their products will help you achieve that perfect look.
From the nourishing beard oil and balm to the refreshing beard wash, their products are made with all-natural local ingredients to keep that beard healthy, soft, and lustrous. The beard comb and brush are designed to detangle and shape your beard, making sure you always look your best.
At Bush Beard, they're dedicated to providing the best possible grooming experience for all the beardos out there. So why settle for an average beard when you can have a glorious, well-groomed one? Try Bush Beard products today and unleash the full potential of your beard.
Be sure to use Dawg and Gus 10 and get 10% off your order.
Bush Beard, the small town brand with the big old Canadian heart. Welcome to the Dawg and Gus Show.
Hey, man.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, you?
I'm very well, thank you.
What do we got going on today?
Well, we're going to talk to a very talented young lady, Sierra Levesque.
Levesque?
Levesque?
Levesque, I think.
Just pretend there's no S.
Levesque.
Don't ever doubt me.
Yeah, I won't doubt you again. Sorry.
Ever.
Never, yeah. How are you, Sierra? Thanks for joining us.
Good, thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. How are you guys?
We're good, thank you.
Good for a Sunday, yep.
Yeah, living the dream.
Yep.
Loving the guitars in the background. Is that like is that your little studio that you do? You practice in there?
Yep, this is my music studio. I'm here in Pembroke, so not far from you guys. And yeah, this is my little music room. Got my guitar wall. I'm very grateful, and they're all my babies. So
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Well, the way that you shred, I mean, there's a reason you have a lot of guitars.
Well, you got to give one a break every once in a while, right?
Yes, everybody they need a breather.
Yeah.
yeah, I do. It's always great.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah. So where does the passion for music come from?
Yeah, I would say it started when I was 3. That's when my parents first heard me singing along to Avril Lavigne, actually. They heard me, I believe it was her song Innocence, where I knew the words somehow. And that's when they knew I liked music. So from there, they started putting me into musical theater, little plays. I was Annie and stuff like that. So
Wow.
that was fun. And then around the age of 7, I started taking piano and singing lessons. And that's also when I wrote my first song. It wasn't good, but it was a song. And
You
from
were
there,
7.
yeah,
Exactly. You're like
I
Mozart.
kind of just like, I don't know. I don't even know actually where it came from. I guess it was just from a lot of listening to music with my dad. He's a big like rock fan, 80s music. So that's kind of what I grew up with and just always loved it. So yeah, from there, started taking drum lessons at age 10, guitar lessons at age 12, and bass at 13. And I've just been performing as much as I can ever since then.
Wow. She's a phenom, Dawg.
I know. I was listening to her stuff.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we were listening to it. We listened to your new single, Authority. I like that a lot. Great entrance, like really rock in tune. But you can hear the '80s in the like the stadium rock style. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your version of Run Run Rudolph, I love. I think that's an awesome version.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, that was fun. I never thought I'd ever do a Christmas song. So last year I decided to do that. And then this year I'm actually releasing an original Christmas song. So
Yeah, I saw
next
that.
year I might go back. Yeah, I might go back to a cover next year. But yeah, Run Run Rudolph was fun. Chuck Berry, classic. Loved honoring him. So that was cool.
Very much so.
That's great. I love that she has some history to her too. Like she knows all the historical figures.
Yeah, she knows who Chuck Berry is. She's okay in my book.
Yeah. Well, Chuck Berry, I mean, you would say is one of the better guitarists of all time, I would suspect.
For sure. I just love rock history. I even took a rock history course as a part of my college that I'm doing online. So any opportunity to learn more about rock music or just anything in general, it's always good in my books. It's what I love to do. So
Nice. Maybe we should do the quick questions to her.
I have just had my faith in the young generation restored.
We weren't before?
I wasn't unsure of them because they don't really know who they walk around the school wearing the rock t-shirts and have no idea who they are.
Yeah, of course.
And Sierra does, but these guys are a little younger, but still.
Yeah,
Learn some stuff.
I think she's an Iron Maiden shirt on. So
She does.
Yeah, I got my
Yeah.
Canadian version on today.
oh, amazing, nice.
Yeah,
This
love
is
Iron
hilarious. This is
Maiden.
great. That's so great.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big rock fan. So the new generation is not dead. The rock is still rising.
Nice. We love to hear that. That's for sure.
Yes, us old folks do.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I'm an old folk now.
You are not.
In this room, I am.
No, in this room, I'm the old folk.
Yeah, true that. Yeah.
You're the youngster.
We noticed you basically put out singles. Is that on purpose? Is it, do you kind of want to do an EP or anything like that?
Yeah, at first people were just asking me to release music, but I wasn't really sure what the response would be. So that's why I decided to start releasing singles just to kind of see what people thought. And each single I try to do a different vibe. So my first one was rock, second one was like a more rock ballad, third one was more of a pop rock song, and now Authority was, the hard driving kind of anthemic rock. So each one I've kind of gained a different audience because each person likes one or the other. And yeah, it's been great, but now my plan is, now that I've released all those, I'm hoping to release my debut album sometime in 2025 because I actually have 20 songs fully recorded and ready. I've just been kind of picking which ones I would release. So I'd like to get those out there so people can hear my full catalog and range.
That's awesome. She is Mozart.
Yes. 20 songs already. Like, oh my God.
Pretty prolific.
Seriously. You're not going to release them all, obviously. You're going to pick and choose, 8 to 10 of them and then release those.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, I don't know if all of them are quality to be released. Some of them I'm not sure if they'll ever see the light of day, but I do think that it'd probably be around 12 songs in total, and I might include the singles on it so that it's all kind of wrapped up together as like version 1 of Sierra, because I'm already writing new music now for the next kind of chapter of everything. So I think all of these songs go together, and that's why I want to kind of now finish out this era with the album and then move on to the new stuff after.
Oh, that's great. Where do you get your kind of where you're feeling, where you get your lyrics from, and does it start with a guitar and then go from there? Is that kind of the process?
Yeah, for each song it has been different. I would say right now if I were to write a song, it usually starts with a riff. But I was actually lucky enough to live out in Los Angeles for the summer, and I was doing a lot of music learning. And, sometimes I like to say life experience helps me with songwriting, so I need to I need to talk to people, I need to meet different people, and that's what gives me a lot of my lyric inspiration. If it's like a situation of, I don't even know, breaking up with someone or meeting someone new, that kind of is what helps me write lyrics. Or even just a feeling that I don't hear in current music. That's kind of also why I wrote Authority. A lot of the songs that are popular today are, more about love and boys, and that's great. I do love that as well, but I want to hear something rebellious. I want to hear something like rising up, especially from a girl. It's really empowering when I hear female singers and female artists. So that's kind of what I also write about, is stuff that I want to hear.
Well, so far so good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that. Again, I love Authority. I thought was a great song.
Yeah. So while you were out in LA, you kind of bummed around with some guys. Tell us a little bit about opening for LA Guns.
That was really, really cool. That actually, a lot of the great opportunities I've had have come from Instagram, which I never thought would ever happen. Back during COVID is when I started posting a lot of covers and kind of tagging artists on Instagram and just seeing if they would see it. And one of the covers I did was Ballad of Jane by LA Guns. And somewhere in the realm of that, one of the booking agents from Whiskey A Go Go found me on Instagram and just reached out and said they had opening slots for both LA Guns and Faster Pussycat. And I am a huge 80s fan, so I told my dad, you're never going to believe this. They said I could open for them. I think this is not a scam. I think it's real. So I ended up getting both gigs. I opened for them 2 days in a row, so that was a crazy 2 days. And then Tracy Guns had actually seen my Ballad of Jane cover, and in the caption I said, it would be amazing to sing this with you guys, just, as a guest, long shot, never thought he would answer. And he reposted my post, I think on Twitter, and said, we'd love to have you. So then for the month leading up to the show, I was rehearsing. Finally, on the day of the show, I got there early, and there they were on stage doing their sound check, and he just told me to come on up, and then yeah, I sang the song with them. So that was really crazy, and just so grateful for their support and to have that experience, especially at the Whiskey A Go Go. I found it to be very like inspiring and something I never thought I'd do.
That's wild. That's so great.
Right. Well, and it's because she's a student of rock history. The Whiskey A Go Go's got a big time history.
Oh yeah. Well,
In LA,
it's a great
right?
venue.
So,
we went by it when we were in LA. Remember I told you about that trip, but I went to the Whiskey A Go Go. Nobody was playing, but I just wanted to be there, you know?
I know, it's so great. And then up the street is the Rainbow, which is, I like to say, like one of my homes. I love the Rainbow. I just go there. Last time I went there, I actually sat alone in there for like an hour and a half because I was waiting for someone and I didn't care. Usually I would be like, oh shoot, this is embarrassing, I'm alone. But I was like, I'm alone in the Rainbow. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I just love the Rainbow and the whiskey and Viper Room. Unfortunately, I'm not old enough to get in there right now. It's 21 and up, but I did perform there back in 2022 as a part of a rock fantasy camp. So that was for younger kids my age, and that was awesome. So yeah, just like that whole strip is kind of in my mind where I wish I was in the 80s, but unfortunately I wasn't here. So now I'm kind of trying to redo that and have these experiences in 2024.
I think we're prefacing the question right now.
Yeah, 'cause if you listen to our podcast, we do ask a question, and I think Gus is going to lose this one
For sure.
in a very large way.
Yeah, big time. But it's okay. We'll ask it at the end, and you can think about it.
Okay.
You don't need to know yet. You know, some people would like when I hear you speak. You're so musically mature. You know, you have this background where you've already done a few big gigs, and your future is very bright. Would you like, if I was to say in 5 years, where would Sierra like to be?
I would definitely like to be on a world tour. That's been my goal since I was little. Like, I've been performing live so much, all in hopes and preparations for a big tour, kind of like the one Olivia Rodrigo was just on. I mean, something like that is definitely, in 5 years, I think I could do it, because I have accomplished quite a bit in the past 5 years, despite COVID. So now that I'm getting out there performing more often, especially now that I'm also living part-time in LA, I think I will hopefully continue working as hard as I can towards something like that. Especially it would be great to be my own music, but even if I were to get a gig in another band as one of the musicians or something like that, that would be amazing too. I just would love to go on a tour someday. So that's kind of my main dream right now.
You know, listen, Dawg, before you ask, we've heard a lot of people say stuff like that. I don't entirely, I believe in them. I actually believe in you. I think that the fact that you've, you know, and I'm not just like tooting your horn here. I'm just sort of saying, like, you know, based on, like you said, what you did in 5 years during COVID is so much better than everybody else did, you know, other than the big, massive artists, you know, that's a different thing. But, yeah, I don't know, Dawg, what do you think?
I was just smiling because it was going to lead to my next question, like what she was saying. I mean, you want to go on tour in 5 years. Who are you going to take with you, or who would you love to go on tour with?
Well, if it was for my own music, I would love to one day have a full backing band, and there's so many amazing musicians out there who, if one day I were to have a record label and they said, like, okay, now's the time, you can pick who you want to make your band, it would be such a hard choice. I do love, like, so many of the female session musicians out there right now as well. Especially, I know Olivia Rodrigo's more pop, but she did have a really, really good backing band for her last tour. She had a great person named Moa on bass, who's from Sweden and stuff like that. And then Bumblefoot is my, like, guitar teacher also. He would be an amazing choice to have on guitar. Just so many awesome people who I'd probably have a hard time choosing. But if it was with another band, one of my dream bands to tour with one day is Ghost. And not many people know who Ghost is, but if you do, hopefully like them. So yeah, that would be amazing. I really love Megadeth. They have very difficult parts, but for some reason, if they needed like a backing singer, I don't know, or like a third guitar player, for some strange reason, I'd love that. Smashing Pumpkins, my friend from Instagram, Kiki Wong, just became their new guitarist, and that's been so inspiring. So if there was a gig like that to come up, I'd always say yes to any band who I love, even if I don't love them. You know what? I'd probably learn to love them. So yeah, those are my main people who I love. Even Hart. If Hart ever needed like someone to fill in for a little minute, I would be so excited too. So I know it's
Yeah.
a long answer, but
No,
so
no, that's
many
great.
people.
That's great.
Good answer.
It's a good answer. Okay, Nancy, why don't you have a seat there? I'll take over for a little bit.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. You look a little tired. Why don't you sit down and let me and Ann take this
exactly.
and run?
But
Just on a couple of Canadian dates. That's all.
dream big, man.
Yeah, exactly. Always dream big.
I think
Yep,
it's great.
just in case. You know, you never know what's going to happen in life. I always like to say everything happens for a reason. I mean, so many opportunities I've had have come from things I would have never expected. Like, I sing the national anthems for the Ottawa Senators. So I'll be there very soon on December 8th. I'll be singing for them again. And the first time I ever sang was when I was 12. So that was 7 years ago now, which is crazy. But one time I was singing for Ottawa versus LA Kings. And I got a message on Instagram after that saying, hey, that was really cool. If you're ever interested in working for Disney Animation, let me know. And actually, that's what helped lead to my internship this past summer in LA, years later, which I would have never expected. So singing one anthem led to something. You never know what manifestation does. That's
Dude,
Stop
what I
looking
like.
at me like that.
dude, what do I say?
He says it all the time. Throw it out there in the universe.
Yeah,
Good for you, Sierra.
Yeah, that's
you
awesome.
never know. Thank
That's
you.
exactly
Yeah, you
it,
never
right?
know.
You really don't. You don't know. You don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know. Having your attitude that you have, this positive attitude, is infectious. And then when you bring that with you and talent combined,
Thank you.
man, that's like a
Unstoppable.
it's a force, man. And
For sure.
yeah, I think that it's great that your ambitions are big, and I think that you should have big ambitions.
Thank you.
Ambitions.
Sorry, I lost the word there for a second.
Yeah,
but-
it's okay.
You mentioned like when you were young, like, so what would be your first experience with music?
I think, yeah, the first one I can remember is when I played a squirrel in Willy Wonka. I think that's when I was 3, and yeah, that was one of the first times I ever performed on stage. I think that was the first time, and I was very nervous. I remember, I think for the audition, I was hiding behind my mom. So haven't always been confident, but I guess back then I was a bit nervous, and yeah, I was a squirrel. So that was my first one I can remember, but even before that, I know that anytime we'd be going on a drive down to Ottawa, my dad plays heavy music very loud. So I'd be falling asleep to Black Sabbath, Motley Crue, Ozzy. Like, it was kind of like my soothing music, and I always remember that. So that's kind of stuck with me a lot.
I bet.
Good on you, Dad.
Go to bed. Here's no more tears.
Yep.
Did you see that at the Hall of Fame? Did you see that Zach Wilde play that?
I did. Yes,
Yeah.
that was really good. I really enjoyed all the musicians. It was cool. And then right after that, I did a cover of Mama, I'm Coming Home on Instagram just to
Ooh.
kind of honor him
So
again.
I saw that.
So
I watched it today,
yeah,
actually.
it was great.
It's great.
I really, really would love to meet Ozzy. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'll be able to, but that's
you will.
always one of my goals.
You will.
Hopefully.
Just
Hopefully.
manifest right now.
Yeah.
Just say it. I'm going to
I
meet.
will.
Yeah,
I'm going to
I-
meet Ozzy. Hopefully, he'll be good for a lot more years. I'm really hoping. Please, Ozzy, stay with us for as long as you can.
Yes.
Love Ozzy.
There you go.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Do you think that your musical theater has helped you gain the confidence you need to be on stage, like to be playing your music out there? Because I saw you with LA Guns, you didn't look nervous at all. Like you're on there, you're standing there with LA Guns, and you walked up to the mic and, hey, everybody. You know, he's just like right out there. It was like there was no hesitation. There was no nervousness whatsoever that I could see.
Yeah, I mean, I think I am good at hiding it. When I first started in musical theater, that did help me a lot with being on stage, memorizing lyrics, memorizing things. So I'm usually pretty good at that. But anytime I do go on stage, there is still a nervousness. Like LA Guns, they told me during sound check, Phil, the singer, wasn't there yet. They said, oh, just go up to the dressing room and talk to him about what you're going to sing. And I was like, oh, goodness. I didn't even know if he knew I was there. Tracy did, but I wasn't sure about Phil. So I slowly walked up to the dressing room, knocked on the door, and I was like, hi. And he has an accent, so he's like, hello. And I was like, oh, I'm Sierra. I'm actually singing Ballad of Jane with you guys tonight. I'm really excited. Whatever you'd like me to sing, I'm good with. It can just be like backup or one verse. He's like, well, you can sing the whole thing. And I was like, oh, okay. Thank you. I'll be ready. So yeah, like I am nervous, but I think the minute I get onto the stage is when that boost comes. So before it's a bit nerve-wracking, but yeah, as soon as I got on there, now even I watch the video and I'm like, gosh, I don't know how I did that. I'm even nervous watching it. So I think it kind of it's good at getting on stage and that adrenaline kicks in for me, but before I am still a bit nervous.
Yeah. Well, you're a perfectionist probably with your music, so you probably. But again, you know that I read once, and I've told this to people before, that nervousness and excitement are the same thing. So if you're just excited, you're not nervous. You're excited.
I know it's hard to tell. I think I am just very excited. Anytime I get to perform, I'm very excited. So the nervousness helps me a lot.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Oh, you're looking at me?
Yeah. Why not?
I'm trying to find my next good question.
Just pick one.
Oh, I've got one.
You got lots of time. We can ask them all.
We do. Now, I don't want to keep harping on the fact that you're only 19 years old. But
jealous
I know extremely. The amount of talent we're finding in young people these days, it makes me weep because it's so awesome.
It is awesome.
You know what I mean? Do you get anybody who says, "No, you can't do that. You're too young"?
Yes.
And how do you deal with that?
Yeah, well, I do have I've been told that for a lot of years. Every time, I would say that one of the main things I'm told, whether it's in person or even just on social media, is, oh, there's still so much room to grow. And that could be a compliment. And I am kind of a perfectionist, like you said. So I usually see the negative before I see the positive. And a lot of times I take that as that they think I'm still young and they think I'm not, not fully developed in my music yet. And I do understand that I have lots to learn. But I do find a lot of times people say it in a way that kind of means they think they kind of discount everything I've done because I'm so young. It's like, oh, you're just little. Come on, you got lots of time to grow. Or, oh, you'll develop more into your skills, or you'll develop more into your sound. I remember I had a call with a manager a few years ago who I really liked. And it was kind of just a little call to see if there was anything that could happen. I sent her my music, and the main thing that was said was, you're still so young, you haven't found your sound yet. And I was singing and playing songs exactly how I am now, just, a little bit less skilled. But I find that, I know what my sound is, I know what I want to sound like. So anytime I'm told that, I kind of take it as a negative thing. Maybe they're being positive and just trying to encourage me, so I appreciate that. But I would say the main challenge I have faced is age. People kind of underestimate you, and I even sometimes don't say my age on purpose because I used to, but now I'll just say I'm a singer-songwriter because maybe they'll give me the opportunity if they don't know how young I am. So sometimes it works against me, but yeah, I'd say it's just about proving people wrong and showing that I have put in the work, and I still will continue to do that.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It is a backhanded compliment because I think that you're right to feel that way. I think that having your guard up when someone says that is a good thing. So keep that up, and then whenever they do that, just in your head say "fuck you." Excuse my language,
I hate
but
authority.
yeah. Well, you hate authority. Well, we got that.
Yeah, there
from
we
the
go.
track. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, just do it anyway. Forget it.
When you've got people like, Tracy from LA Guns, and you've got Hart, and did Ann Wilson said something too, right?
Yeah,
I read somewhere.
She posted a happy birthday message for me one year, and I couldn't even believe that. But then Nancy's been following me on Instagram for a few years now, and she's been so supportive. So yeah, it's crazy.
Like from Heart?
Yes.
I know, it's crazy, eh?
So this is where I say, anybody who says anything about your age, just go read Nancy's text again. And just dismiss what they're saying, because if one of the best female guitar players in the world is giving you props, you're doing something right.
Not only female,
Thank you.
she's probably
probably
top 20. I mean,
yeah, I'm sorry,
anyway.
I didn't mean to say
no. But you know what I mean? Like, I just just going on that, it's like she's so talented, and yeah, exactly what Dawg just said. Just read what she said and just be like, yeah, sure, and just let it roll off your back and continue doing what you're doing.
Talent recognizes talent.
That's right, exactly.
For sure, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm just so excited still every time I see her name pop up. So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but you deserve it. You're putting in this effort,
you.
and you're creating good stuff. So, just you should be excited about it. I love that. What's your favorite performance so far?
that I've done, I would say, probably the Whiskey A Go Go opening for
Yeah.
LA Guns, because that was the second night. And the first night, it was my first time there ever. I perform live, playing guitar and singing, and then I play on top of self-recorded tracks of me playing the other instruments. So I play drums, bass, piano, background vocal, synthesizer, and I wasn't sure how that would work at the Whiskey, because usually it's bands. But luckily, the sound guy was so nice and helped me get everything sounding perfect. So the second night is when I really was ready to kick into full gear. And yeah, that one I definitely look back on as one of my favorite, especially just the venue. And I had a lot of great friends come out to that show as well from LA. So it was really cool just being able to do a 30-minute set there.
Did you have a holy crap, I'm at the Whiskey kind of moment where you just kind of went,
Yeah,
Yes.
the Doors have played here.
yeah, seriously, if you think back, if you do your art, if you do your music history on this and the bands that have played before
Oh, it's
in
everybody.
the 60s and 70s and stuff.
Stones, the Beatles, like
It's
everybody.
crazy. AC/DC,
Obviously,
I
Ozzy.
saw like a photo the other day of the sign when it said AC/DC was performing, and I shared it. I was like, wow, so crazy. Heart, everyone. I mean, that stage is so legendary, and just the room itself. So every time I'd walk on that stage and they'd announce me, I'd just be like, kind of not even believing that I was there, like an out-of-body experience. So any chance to perform there is awesome. I'm hoping to go back soon, at least in 2025. Just depends on the show, because usually you do it based on who the headliner is, and I like being with, rock, hard rock. So sometimes if there's more pop shows happening, I like to wait for those classic rock ones to come around. So hopefully there'll be one soon. But yeah, just anytime I even pass by it on the street, I feel that feeling. So it's hard to believe I performed there. I still kind of don't believe it.
Yeah. I mean, there must be a lot of weight when you're in there, like just like the feeling of weight that's, not that you're not accomplished and not able to do it, but just the weight of the room, it just seems like such a powerful space. So
It is,
yeah,
for
I think,
sure.
yeah.
It's cool. In the back room, like, they have all the signatures of people who have performed there in the dressing room, so I signed the wall, and it was just really cool. And they have all of like the Ozzy photos on the wall shot by Mark Weiss, where he's wearing like the bunny costume, and all those really cool 80s photos. So yeah, just like a really cool place in general for a rock fan. Even to perform is so cool.
No doubt.
So when you get to, I won't say the Canadian equivalent,
What would be the Canadian equivalent of the Whiskey?
you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say the Alma Combo.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Mm.
Or the,
What's the other one in Toronto, the big one?
well, there's the, what room? Anyways, but again, I know what you mean. But I
Yeah.
think it's like that's one more like is like the NAC, whereas Alma Combo is more of like raw and
Yeah.
and
When you get-
grimy a bit,
When you get to play there, you will definitely be DMing us, because I'll make a road trip up for that.
Yeah, I'd go to the Alma
Thank you.
Combo. Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely let you know. I'm hoping, if that tour comes around, would love to go there. That would be cool. I do have some friends out there who perform there quite often, and I always see the pictures. It looks so cool. So that's definitely a goal to play there as well.
nice. Yeah. How does where you live affect your career? Do you find?
Well, growing up, actually, now that I look back on it, I thought in my mind it was negative, because I thought, oh, small town, not as many opportunities, not as many people. But now I see it as the opposite, because I was able to perform at every single venue from Pembroke to Armpire to Deep River, everywhere in between. Ottawa, I performed at quite a bit. And I feel like that's really helped me with perfecting my sound, playing live, getting a fan base in the area, kind of testing out different songs, covers to see how it resonates with audiences, and also making money, because here people do pay pretty good for live music compared to in bigger cities where you're lucky if you get paid at all, depending on the show. So, I mean, now I see it as a great opportunity to have learned a lot and to have worked as much as I could now that I am starting to expand out more. If I think I grew up in LA, it might have been different. It would have been a bit harder to get into those venues at first and to kind of perform at them regularly. So I'm glad I live here. And the only thing is, around here, I'm not sure if you see it, but I definitely see that rock isn't as popular here. I find it's more country. So a lot of people have said to me, oh, like, you could be the next Taylor Swift, or you could be the next country artist, you should go down to Nashville, and that's great. But for me, my goal is LA. I'm definitely rock. I've never doubted that. So a lot of people have, not liked it as much since it's rock around here, but that's okay. You know what? Rock is appreciated everywhere in different forms, so I think it's helped me a lot by growing up here.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that. You like the way you explained how eventually you could get to LA. If you were born in LA, it may not be as simple because there's so many artists there, right? And you don't know, you didn't know that your fit was what your fit is now. So makes sense.
And the opportunities to play, like LA would be a lot harder, I think, to get into the bigger venues as opposed to, the Pembroke, the Deep River, Arnprior, Ottawa. Like there's a lot of places where Pembroke, you're like that genre is like welcomed big time. Montreal, another big one.
Yeah.
My buddy says Pembroke.
Pembroke.
He's from there, and he says Pembroke.
Yeah, I think it depends. My parents are actually I have three parents. I have my dad, my mom, and then my stepmom, and they've been separated since I was young, but I have a really great relationship with all three. So they're always so supportive and bringing me everywhere. And my stepmom's from here, and then my parents are actually from Burlington. So yeah, they're kind of a little bit from a bigger city. So I don't know, maybe I get my pronunciation from them.
Yeah.
I have heard people say Pembroke, but I just say Pembroke.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't know. No,
well,
I say Pembroke. I'm just it was something I noticed. Anyways, it's off topic.
So how excited was your dad when you said, "Dad, I think LA Guns is reaching out to me"? Did he like drop to the floor? Yeah. Oh, my daughter.
Well, I had to call him because I was like, this is crazy. Like the booking agent just said, Faster Pussycat and LA Guns, and for me at that point, I actually knew Faster Pussycat more. I hadn't heard LA Guns as much at that point, which now I find strange. But yeah, at that point it was, okay, so do you want to do one show or both? Like, which show are we going to go with here? And when we talked about it and kind of we're like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, both 2 nights, so we just said, we're going to do both. It was awesome. And yeah, he grew up, like I said, we listen to Hair Nation, the Sirius XM station every day. We listen to Ozzy's Boneyard. So yeah, like LA Guns and Faster Pussycat are the main ones on there, on Hair Nation at least. So yeah, I mean, he was very excited and he loved seeing the shows, and it was just, I think he enjoyed it because he grew up in the 80s, so it was kind of like a back in time experience for him.
Yeah. There's no way she's saying 90s, bro?
Nope.
We could talk about it then, but that is, I know where this is going.
It ain't happening.
No, that's okay. What's the worst piece of advice someone gave you when you were starting as a musician?
Oh, that's a good question. Shoot. Let me think here. I have been given some great advice. Bad advice, not as much, but actually, the one that I still get, but that I got, especially when I was starting, was be in a band. And, people have a hard time, I think, accepting solo artists sometime, and I'm not sure why, but I've been told ever since I was young, ever since I started playing guitar, you should be in a band. So therefore, the band would have a name, and I would be part of the band. But I always saw it as being called Sierra Levesque and having a band. So it was kind of always me trying to prove that I could do it myself and that I didn't need to be in a band because, a lot of people have told me that. So, I mean, I'd love to have a backing band. I've done quite a lot of shows with great bands who I've hired, but, sometimes it's hard to sync everything up with people and their families and their lives and paying them and rehearsing. So that's why right now I've been doing it on my own. So, I think be in a band, because not everyone has to be in a band. Every time people ask me for advice, I definitely don't say be in a band. I say you can do whatever you want. I think it's better to not be forced into something and maybe try doing it on your own. So that's, I would say, the worst one, because people just kind of discredit you as a solo artist when they say that. But maybe one day I would love to be in a band for a certain time, but I'd also love to pursue my own music as well.
Well, it's your release, right? It's your artistic release. You don't have, there's no other way for you. You want to make your own music and you want to do it your way. So that's great to have if you have a clear goal, it's important. Yeah,
I do find that it's great, and people still today say that to me, like, have you ever considered just being in a band? And I'm not sure why they say just, because being in a band is a lot of hard work too. I mean, there's so many amazing bands who they're working all the time, and yeah, I guess I haven't found the right people yet, but I think, if you want to be a solo artist, that's okay too. So, yeah,
course.
that's one of the things that I would say maybe is the least followed that I use.
Yeah, makes sense.
I like the way you like cherry pick people that you want for your band. If you're going to tour, if you're going to play live, I want this person. I want this drummer. I want this other guitar player. I think that's a good way to go. Just to get the same, like if you feel like the same vibe as them, right? Because
Yeah.
that's important to be on stage with people that, understand what you want to do. Because you're the one like your name is the one up there,
Mhm.
right? And they're helping you get to where you need to go. So the vibe needs to be there.
For sure.
And I think that you stay true to who you are, and it's going to work for you.
Seems to be working
Thank you.
so far.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I do find it's kind of my goal is, to hopefully. I've been scouting people all this time. I'm still scouting people. Like I have like lists in my mind of if I could pick right now, I know who it would be. Because you want people who are great on stage and off stage. You want there to be no weird drama on tour. Because tour kind of sometimes I hear brings out the worst in people. So you want to be careful with that. But yeah, I think session musicians is the way to go for me because they know what they're doing. They're there. They rehearse the material. There's no messing around. Like it's just
Pros.
about the gig.
They're professionals, right?
Well,
Yeah.
there was that one good band out of the 80s that were session musicians. Toto.
Yeah, Toto, but also the band.
Yeah. The band.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's pretty funny how that works out.
Sure does.
What can fans expect from a live show for Sierra Levesque?
Well, yeah, I mean, depending on the show, a few different things. Usually for, a smaller scale show, I had a show last night in Deep River, and that one was just at a restaurant, so usually there I do acoustic and electric more at the end of the night. I do usually a mix of covers and originals at those shows, kind of covers from everywhere from the 60s up till today. I do everything from, oh my goodness, from Mamas and the Papas to System of a Down. Last night I did Metallica, I did I don't even know, I did quite a lot of covers. And then in between that, I put all my original songs and usually with my backing tracks so they can kind of hear a different thing. So that's one version of my show. But then another version is if it's at a bigger venue, I like to do mostly originals, maybe one or two covers. And that's where I'm doing, the full set, electric and acoustic with my backing tracks. And yeah, it's really kind of, people like to say it's something they haven't seen before. They're usually surprised that it is me playing the other instruments, and people do say that my performances are nice and dynamic and engaging. I sometimes even start telling very strange jokes, which I don't like. I don't know why I do it, but the audience usually is laughing a lot, so that's good to me. I get a lot of crowd participation with my songs and singing along. That's something I love. So yeah, if anyone were to come see one of my shows, it could be anything from doing some acoustic and covers to full electric and guitar solos for my songs, and yeah, just using my tracks. So right now it's a range of things, but I like every show.
Great.
She gave me goosebumps when she said System of a Down.
Yeah. I like the Mamas and the Papas part.
That too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a great range, right? Like it's just kind of sorry, I don't mean to dwell on your age, and just looking at you going, she's playing the Mamas and the Papas.
Yeah. No.
Holy crap, that's awesome.
Remember, she said she didn't like that.
I know. That's why I apologized before I said it.
I know. She doesn't
God.
care. What song do you play by System of a Down? I have to ask.
Well, I play a few. Last night I played a little medley. I did Lonely Day and Aerials. Aerials is one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
I've also
song. Sorry.
performed a version of Chop Suey before, acoustic, which was a little strange. I've done
Acoustic?
Hypnotize. Yeah, I that's another thing in my performing. I take usually electric songs and I make acoustic versions that people seem to enjoy. So yeah, I do a
Quite bad.
Chop Suey acoustic. I do Wasted Years by Iron Maiden acoustic with my looping pedal. I use a lot of looping as well sometimes. Last night I actually tried out a new song for the first time. I did Ballad of Dwight Fry by Alice Cooper, fully acoustic with the solo in the middle. So that's a good one. Yeah, it kind
Who
of
is
depends
this
on
girl?
See, and you give me shit for that.
I know, it's
like
unreal though. It's I love it. Sorry, it's so great.
It's so
great.
freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I have a two-pronged question about your covers.
Yes.
First, what's your favorite one to do?
Ooh.
Hmm.
And
Shoot.
Second.
I'll gotta wait for her to answer.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh my
okay.
gosh. Let me think. Off the top of my head, one of my favorites. There's favorites for different reasons. That's the
Mhm.
issue. But you know what? One of my favorites, because it always brings the crowd all together, is "What's Up" by Four Non Blondes, which isn't
Nice.
as heavy, but I do get the whole crowd to sing along with me in that one, and I stop singing. So that kind of like inspires me to do that for my own songs. Every time I do it, I say, "Okay, it's your turn now." Hey, yeah, yeah. Like everyone starts singing, and I just leave the microphone, and the whole room is singing together. So that one's always really fun. I find no matter what room I'm in, if there's 5 people or 50, they always stop and sing with me. So that's a fun one. I would say, you know what, like for a favorite, because I love the guitar in it, I just played last night Am I Evil by Metallica? Well, actually Diamond Head, I'm sorry. It's by Diamond Head, but I played the cover version of Metallica, and that one has that really cool guitar intro. So anytime when I get to play like a solo or anything heavy, I love those as well.
Okay, and so the second part is there a cover of a song that you really love that you just won't touch?
Yes. You know what? I have tried to cover Ghost before. Sometimes I throw in a few Ghost songs, but I just love it too much. That's the issue. It's that if I were to cover it, I wouldn't find I love it as much if I were to be performing it live over and over. Because songs that I've been performing live for years, I don't really love listening to anymore, which sucks, because I know them, I've been singing them, like Sweet Child of Mine is ruined. I've sang that song way too many times that it's just like, shoot, here it is again. So, yeah, anything Ghost, usually I don't cover them too often, but if I were to try covering them, it might just be for Instagram. Live, I just like to keep that usually for them.
Good answers again.
Yeah, she's crushing
Thank
it.
you.
So how do you balance your life? Like, what do you do in your off time when you're not playing music?
Well, this is a fun question always, because I always say my life is music, and people say, so what else do you do? Well, here's what I do. When I'm not performing music, I write music, I record music, I teach music to kids every week. I also work part-time at the local radio station, where I help out with anything that they ask. I do like community interviews, events, I help them run the live bingo on air, so I guess it's not as music related. But I see concerts, I watch music films, I go to music stores, I talk about music, and other than that, I do spend a lot of time with family, a few friends, and this summer in LA, I really did enjoy trying different food. So I think that's the thing I'm going to start telling people now, is about the food. Because you know what?
Do that.
I guess I could say I'm a foodie, somehow. I love like trying different, little coffee shops and places and desserts and like revolving sushi bars where the sushi's like traveling and different stuff like that. I do love that. So yeah, I love trying food. And in places where there's like amusement parks, I love going to Disney, Universal, like a theme park. That's another thing I love. So I know a lot of my life is music, but there are a few things I like to do outside of that. So most of it's music, but it's not too much else.
Sounds all right.
No, it's what she wants to do.
Oh,
Now-
wait, I got to tell you something. When you're in LA next time, you have to try a pluot. Okay? And a
Shoot,
pluot
okay,
is a plum and apricot that they've
Oh,
I ate 50 of them when I was there. They're just the
Oh.
most delicious fruit you've ever tried. And you can only get them
Oh,
really
wow.
there or somewhere like that has a warm climate.
okay.
I'm just saying.
All right.
Some-
I'll have to
I-
find one.
here in Ottawa, I've had them. Like you can get them, but
It's not as good
it's
because they're not fresh.
No, like
Mm.
the
They gotta ship them in.
farmers market in LA.
Yes.
There's one
okay.
there's a one every day almost, and you can find them, and they're just.
Okay.
Then you get back to me on it. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, I do like posting little things of like food reviews on my story on Instagram. So one of them will be that. There we go. I'll search
Pluots.
for that when I go back.
And a shout out to Gus.
Oh sure, yeah. But
There we go.
it's delicious. It was a game changer for me. We had such a great week.
Perfect.
I could live in LA. I mean, God, it's so
Yeah, but I
beautiful there.
won't. So this would be awkward.
Well, we would do it the same way we're doing now, except it would be 3 places.
Oh, I don't like that.
Maybe Sierra and I'd be in the same room, and then you
What?
could be,
That's not right.
because we'd be in LA, man.
Not for me. When you're at home in Pembroke,
I broke.
Do you try to get out to a few of the shows to see some of the local folks that are out and about?
Yeah, really, like I've been back for only about a month and a half now, but I already have seen one show just actually a few weeks ago. Usually it's when I have friends performing, I like to go support because I always appreciate any support I get. So if someone decides to come to my show, I think, okay, well, great, I want to go to your show and support you. So yeah, I went last 2 weeks ago maybe to a show at Legends here in Pembroke, and it was kind of like an underground metal show actually. I wasn't expecting it to be that heavy, so I was surprised. It was quite good. There was about, I think, maybe 6 bands on the bill, and I caught 3 of them. And yeah, it was really cool. It was more like guitar based, so not as much singing, but always love that as well. You know, I'm a big fan of metal and solos, so yeah, it was a cool night. But as much as I can, if there's a show or especially rock, I love to kind of go out to what I can and support as well, because it's all about supporting local and supporting fellow friends. So I definitely love that.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's cool.
We see that a lot when we go out to the shows here in Ottawa. I've been to Pembroke a couple times to the Lasso
Oh,
Lasso Live. How were you saying
yes.
Lasso.
it? Lasso,
I don't know.
Lasso.
Do listeners take away different things from your songs than you intended?
They might. I think depending on the song, because some of my songs, the lyrics are all over the place. Like my song I released that's more of a pop song, pop rock. It's called You Are My Drug. And that one just won't leave me alone because all these people keep saying, don't do drugs. Like, I'm like, it's not about drugs at all. Like, you haven't listened to the song. So now every time I perform it live, I have to say a disclaimer, especially because now I do have younger kids in my audiences more often. I say, okay, guys, I'm going to play a song now. Do not do drugs. This song is not about drugs. It's about anything that you love. So, you guys, whenever I'm singing this song, just imagine something you love. When I sing it, I think about my guitars. So that's what I have to say. But it's definitely, sometimes lyrics can be misinterpreted, and that is one of them.
No doubt. Yeah. Just going on that, actually, you've told us that you teach music to younger kids. Do you find that you have like you need to do that so that you can bring up the future and like the future artists that can have somebody to look up to? Is that important to you?
Yeah, I definitely never thought I would do that. It first started in 2021 when a local music studio actually reached out and asked me if I'd consider teaching a few guitar lessons. And that was when I felt like, oh goodness, like, am I even qualified? That was a few years ago. Like, each year I never feel that I'm qualified enough to teach, but I thought, okay, I'll try it. And that's been going on for a few years. Unfortunately, that studio closed down, so now I just do it from my home studio. Each year depends on the year. I have a few different students. This year I have 5 students every Monday. I teach drums, guitar, and piano this year. Last year I was also doing singing. And yeah, I actually like it a lot more than I thought I would, because growing up I had amazing music teachers who have inspired me. And unfortunately, one of my local music teachers who kind of taught me guitar first and helped me to go to shows in Pembroke first, passed away right before COVID. And he was one of my, I would say, mentors. And so now, when I'm teaching, I kind of feel that I'm passing him along as well, in a way. And I feel like that's a great way to honor him. So I think I would always love to teach in some capacity, even if I'm on tour someday, maybe over Zoom. I'd love to just teach. And I love teaching younger kids as well, because they've never been exposed to music and they kind of see how fun it can be. But any age, I've taught from age 6 to 45. So I love it all. And yeah, I think teaching is something I will always need to do, just to kind of feel that I'm giving back and also just continuing on the legacy.
Yeah, it's cool.
I want to see her birth certificate. I don't believe she's not that as old as she
Oh,
is.
here we go. Stop.
No, I'm sorry. It's just like the wisdom coming out of this person. It's just
Yeah,
like,
she has a clear vision
Oh,
of
my
what
goodness.
she is and what she wants to be. That's all.
and I like it a lot.
Doesn't matter if she's 50 or she's 19. Doesn't matter.
Listen, man. I work at a school. I see these kids that I work with and see around the school, and half of them don't have a clue.
Yeah, but some people take time. I mean, you're 60.
I haven't figured it out. Probably never will.
Yeah, she knows. She's like, this is where I'm going, and that's it. Doesn't matter if she's 10 or
It blows
70.
my mind.
Yeah, it's cool. Very cool.
It's awesome.
I love the giving back portion.
Yeah,
Like that's
I
a like
do.
and honoring your teacher is great.
Yes, very
Thank
much so. I've looked at your web page. Was that you that designed it, or did you have somebody else do it for you? Because
It
if
was
you say
me,
you,
and
I'm done. Oh, man, I'm
it
done.
was me. It was me, but I am gonna
So
be
good.
redoing it. I
Yeah.
find it's not as good as it could be, so stay tuned. There will be like a refresh coming soon. But yeah, it was me. I learned how to use Bandzoogle because I was trying to figure out how to create one easily, and luckily they have good templates. And yeah, so I try to do as much as I can. So yeah, I designed that.
Very well done.
Can you
Thank
do
you.
ours?
Can you do
I
ours?
can. It's not too
Oh.
bad. Bandzoogle's pretty easy to use at least, so that's been good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, when you say easy, what does that mean?
Well, she probably did some
So it
training.
means-
She
it means
did
that-
some training. She looked at it. She Googled it. She watched YouTube videos.
Fine.
She did what I do for our show, bud.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
we started out with in Staples, and now we have this. So we're right.
Yeah.
It's just growth, right? She's figuring out things as she goes. So it's wonderful. She's obviously a consummate learner.
Consummate?
Consummate. Pembroke.
Try my best.
Was there anything in particular that inspires you for like some of your songs? Is it like, obviously you meant the don't drugs and all that is your guitars are your drug, and like what inspires you? Again, I asked this sort of, but I just always am interested to hear a little bit more about the background. Like, did you write when you were in LA and that was a different experience than when you're at home? Is it sort of play with each other?
Yeah, I think every time I write a song, it's slightly different. A lot of my songs have been taken from inspiration from my online college courses I've been doing. I'm doing a Bachelor of Arts in Songwriting, but online. So I'm able to kind of learn all the tools, and in a lot of these classes, they've given us prompts or assignments like, oh, write a song about this, write a song imagining this. So some of my coolest songs have come from that. One time, they said to write a song about a priest. It could be about anything. So I decided to write a song about a priest who secretly worships the devil. And I wrote a song called Sold My Soul. And that one will be on the album, so hear that
Sweet.
one. So I didn't think of that myself, but it kind of came
you
from...
got an idea
guess
and then you
Yeah, it kind of came from that.
So not only are you all of these things, but now you're taking you're in school too you're getting a bachelor degree in arts.
Yes, yeah, Bachelor
like
of Arts
my
in Songwriting.
spirit animal.
I love Berklee College of Music. That's where I've been taking it. I used to go there for summer programs in Boston, and I always thought I would go in person. But I kind of decided back during COVID that when I switched to online learning, I did enjoy that, and it would allow me to perform and travel still and not have to be in one place. So yeah, I'm doing my full degree online. I'm in my second year now, and should be done hopefully within the next year and a half. And then yeah, we'll see what happens. But I always wanted to get a degree. In school, I was always very grade oriented, which I feel like for some musicians, people don't assume that. People usually think, oh, if you're a musician, then you must have had bad grades, which I don't know where that came from, but I was always very grade oriented. So yeah, I love just like assignments and deadlines. So yeah, I mean, it's been helping me write songs as well, and I'm doing that as well. So kind of doing as much as I can.
Bro,
I'm tired.
yeah. No, it's great. It's
awesome.
I have young daughters, and I'm not say I want them to be like you, but I really do. So
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank
No,
you.
it's just like goal oriented and driven, and it's all beautiful stuff. Okay, I'll ask the question. I mean, I know the answer, but whatever. We have a question we ask everybody at the end of the show. It's basically Dawg is 80s, I'm 90s, and we ask, everybody says 60s and 70s, everybody loves those, but some people are different between those two decades. I'm going to keep talking even though I know the answer. For you, the decade of the 80s or the decade of the 90s music?
80s for sure. And if I had to pick a specific year, I'm going to go even further. I am the year 1987, because that's the year that Appetite for Destruction came out. Like, just all the main things. That's my year. I always imagine that's my year. So, yep, 1987 is my year. And even, you know what? A lot of good albums did come out in 91. that were rock, like Ozzy and Metallica. So unfortunately, I do have to say, part of the 90s as well. I mean, grunge isn't my favorite. This year I've gotten into a lot of Smashing Pumpkins, though. So that does count as 90s. And I kind of go all over the place. But 80s is my main home in my mind.
1991 was a huge year for albums because in then like a 8-week period, there's some of the most like Nevermind
Iconic.
comes out, and
Iconic.
like you said,
I know.
Red Hot Chili Peppers comes out, and Metallica Black Album comes out, and you know there's just it's a big year 91, but 87's a good year too. We knew the answer, but we had to ask the question, or else it's part of our show. You know, we got to ask the question.
Yeah, you're
There
not
we
hurting
go.
feelings.
Oh God, I love
No.
some of the 80s stuff, and
Yeah.
I love metal. So it's totally. I know I like sometime wearing a Will and Jennings hat, but it's also I'm a huge proponent of the metal, and I love System of a Down. Like when that album came out with Chop Suey, and you know even Aerials is like one of my favorite songs ever. I love the start, like that beginning, like the heart, like the guitar part that you probably play perfectly. It's excellent, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love System of a Down, and that's why this summer I was so shocked because Serge Tankian, the singer, has a coffee shop in LA, kind of on the outskirts. And I knew before I moved there, like, okay, I want to go here. They're selling merch. So one day I saw book signing. I was like, oh my goodness, he's going to be there. So I waited outside for 4 hours in very hot weather. Finally got to meet him, which was amazing. And a few weeks later, I got an invite to this, like, he has paintings as well, so I guess he paints. He had, like, a gallery opening a few weeks later that I went to, and I kind of convinced him and the manager of this facility to allow me to be the first ever performer to perform inside that space. So this summer, I played a show from my Song Authority, kind of the release show, at his coffee shop, all thanks to him. So thank you, Serge. System of a Down, I am obsessed with and never thought I would ever meet a member. So I understand. System of a Down is, one of my top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah. That's great stuff. The drummer is actually cousin lives here in Ottawa, and I went to school with him. He's like that's.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I think he's Iranian.
I believe so. Yeah.
Anyways, it's the guy. I've talked to him about it before. I was like, "This is your cousin?" He's like, "Yeah."
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Trippy,
just love System of a Down. It's so good.
Well, that's another cool story. So when you spoke to Serge, did you just say who you were and what you did, and then he just sent an invite to you eventually?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was kind of very, very short at first because it was a book signing. There was like 1,000 people waiting. So at first I was just told them really quick that I am a singer, a songwriter, and also that I kind of know the people at Gibson because he's been working a lot with the Gibson brand to put out his music. So I thought I could use that as like a connection because they were lucky enough to help me out this summer. I mean, I was so grateful. They lent me a guitar to use for the summer. Like I rented one. So I thought, okay, great. I know them. I can name them. And so that kind of was all I said. Then a few weeks later, I got an email from some publicist, I guess, saying, oh, like RSVP now for this special gallery event. And again, I didn't know if he'd be there. So this time I walk into the same place and there's about 5 people and there he is, like no one in there. So I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm definitely going to be talking to him. But didn't expect him to remember me. There was thousands of people. And when he saw me, he said, Sierra, the artist, right? I was like, that's me. It's me,
cool.
Sierra. I was like, oh my gosh. So then, I was talking to him and the guy who owns a place called Carlos. And they're like, yeah, we're looking for events to host. We're kind of a new facility, so we want to bring people in. Let me know. And then a few weeks later, I had the show booked, which was my official, single release show. And it was awesome. Got people to come down and hoping to do another show there when I go back to LA because they were so nice and welcoming.
That's amazing.
Very, very cool.
Yeah. Sierra, thank you for your time today. We really enjoyed this. This was a great experience for both of us. And
Awesome.
We love watching. We're going to watch you keep going and let us, when we see something that you're playing nearby, we'll make sure that we get to show up and see it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, December 8th, that's when I know right now I'll be singing both national anthems for Ottawa Senators versus New York Islanders. So if you guys will be around, I'll be at that game.
Nice. I'm not at the game.
I don't know.
Never. That's a Sunday.
It is a Sunday.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's okay. Thank you again. That's amazing. I'll be in Toronto actually that weekend. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, Sierra, just stay with us a couple minutes and appreciate your time.
Perfect, thank you.
Dawg and Gus, Dawg and Gus, Dawg and Gus.